Alright, so I decided that I'm going to add the third screw for the 3-screw trigger mod, which lets you adjust sear engagement. And that's like, well, I'll show you when I get into the mechanism. I'll show you how to get to it if you didn't watch the other videos. But this is going to be sort of an add-on to the 2-screw mod. But here's a screw right in front of the trigger. And I'll tell you that you need, well, this is up to you what size screw you use, because you're going to be drilling your own hole. But this is just, this is a screw from scope mount, the top screw. And I just had a lot of extra ones laying around, so I decided to use them. I think scope mounts come with like an extra one, and I have like 5 or 6 pairs of scope mounts. So this screw was laying around, and I was trying to find a drill bit that would work with it, and a 9/64 seems to work good. It's a little tight, but once you start screwing it in there, you just got to make sure you don't get in there across, or just make sure you screw it in straight. It kind of threads its own hole, and it works. So I'll show you how to do it. I already did it, but I'll describe what you need to do. First thing is just take the action out of stock again, and you do that by removing the safety. There's a spring wire here for the sear engagement. You just have to sort of lift that up, and then the safety should, okay, so you just get that out. And now what you need to do is remove the stock. Just get a screwdriver, and there's one screw down here for the Discovery. Get that screw out, and just put the stock aside. And here you can see the screw a little bit better now. You might think that that sticks out a little too far and it'll be annoying, but actually on Discovery it has this little like raise there, and you really can't feel it. Nobody holds their gun there because that's where your trigger is, so it's not going to get in the way. You can use a different screw, like I said, but this screw and 9/64 works perfectly, so that's what I recommend, but you can use whatever you want. I'm going to take this plate off just to show you exactly what it does. I wish I could have done a video when I was doing it, but when I'm drilling a hole in my Discovery, I sort of just want to put all my focus towards that instead of making a video, so. And I need to get like a mat or something, saying sliding all over the place. Okay. And there you go. Try to show this to you. I'm not going to pull everything out of there because it's sort of a pain to get it back in. But that's the 3-screw mod. There is a screw, and what it does is determines how far this sear, that part of the sear, engages when you cock the gun back. And what that does is, it's really like, well, when you have it like I have it, where it just barely engages, but again, well, I'm going to tell you this now, you had to play around with this before you go shooting, because if you screw this in too far, it won't engage. If you screw it in too far, it will engage, but might disengage, so you really have to be careful. I did a lot of testing. I left this cocked overnight, and it's safe, so. But what it does is, the way I have it set up where it just barely engages but safely, is when you get to that second stage, it really makes the trigger pull a lot more crisp, less creep, and a little bit lighter, because you can only lighten it so much before you start having to make it so the sear doesn't engage as much. But yeah, if you're interested in this, I recommend doing it, because it really does make the trigger a lot better when combined with this those other two screws, which is in the other video. I probably posted up an annotation so you could find this by watching the other video. But yeah, so what it does is when you pull the trigger, that part goes down and pushes this part up, which pushes this part down, and then that's the sear. It disengages, the hammer, boom, the gun fires. It just makes it so that this doesn't engage past the point that you want it to, because that screw is stopping this from going down further. So that's as best as I can explain it. Hopefully that made sense. But basically all you do to do this is you get your 9/64 or any size, as long as you have the corresponding screw that'll fit it, and just right under there, right under where that's sear is going to be, you just right in the center, there's sort of a mold line there to line it up with the center, and you just drill as straight as you can, and don't go too crazy or anything, just slowly drill. You don't want to like go crazy in reverse and forward and then get the hole too big, but it's going to be a snug fit first time you put it in there. But you drill it, and then you just take your scope mount screw and you just screw it in there. Make sure the first time you do it that you screw it in there straight, because this isn't threaded. I don't think you really need to thread this, especially since it's just this type of plastic. And just adjust it to your liking. And that's about it. Like I said, make sure that you test the safety of this thing, because I mean, this makes a difference. The sear is the difference between the gun firing and not firing. So make sure you test it. I mean, leave it cocked all night. Take your hand and near where this is on the stock, bump it and hit it pretty hard, but not like ridiculous. You know, maybe put a little padding there. Just make sure this thing is not going to slip, because, you know, the most dangerous thing you can do with a gun is modify the trigger, pretty much. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. When you combine this, you know, when you get the 3 screw mod going, it really does make the trigger a lot better. Only thing that would make this trigger a lot better is better sears and a metal trigger blade. Mike T at TKO22.com, just Google TKO22, and he actually sells a metal trigger blade for I think $34, which might be like, geez, $34 for a trigger blade. Well, it's not. It's a nice trigger blade. It's got different shape, and I've never used it, but I'm sure it'll make a lot better. And he also sells the 3 screw trigger mod, so you won't have to deal with trying to find your screws, find your spring, and I think it does come with better sears, or polished sears or something. But yeah, so if you really want to make your Discovery nice, go ahead and get that. And this muzzle brake up here, which the gun's gonna fall off the table. You can't see it. Well, I gotta shoot this in a better place. But anyway, spring break just started today, and I'm gonna go do some shooting with the Discovery. I'll post up some shooting videos, and I'm gonna try to do a sound test with a brake to with and without the brake, to see how much of a difference it makes.